What's up internet, Kevin here with TLD. E3's been over for a couple of days now and I've been collecting my thoughts regarding what we saw at both the press conferences and what I got to personally try out on the show floor. And I figured we'd start off by getting one of the most controversial ones right out of the way, Microsoft's Xbox One. Now to say that the Xbox One has not had the most favorable response from the internet overall is a bit of an understatement.
All gamers around the world, let's gather around and let's f***ing tell Microsoft, f*** you cunt-sucking piece of ugly shit. Let's f*** them up.
And while I don't want to rant too long on what many of you already know, I do just want to summarize three of the biggest concerns people have for those of you that don't. First off, even if you purchase a game physically, you're still limited to it in the same way a digital game would, meaning that you're limited to only using it on one Xbox Live account. What this means is that once you buy a game, you can't give it to a friend, sell it yourself, or do anything of the sort outside of trading it into pre-approved retailers by Microsoft. Second off, the system requires you to check in once every 24 hours to the internet in order to keep playing your games offline, or once every hour if you're not on your own console. Now, if you live in one of the 21 supported countries, this really isn't that big of an issue unless you move around a lot, or if you live somewhere else and want to have a system imported, in which case the system basically serves as a $500 paperweight. Now last but not least is the fact that the system must be bundled with a Kinect that must be plugged in for the system to operate, and has the optional feature of always being in standby mode, meaning that the camera and mic are both always actively listening for certain command words. Now while most fears related to the fact that you have an always-on camera in your living room are somewhat conspiracy theory related, it's not that hard to imagine in this day and age, and is definitely something for a lot of people to feel awkward about having in their living room. Now most of these measures are related to the fact that Microsoft is trying to find some kind of middle ground between going pure digital or physical media, and what we've really ended up with is a system that is basically all of the drawbacks of having digital products without any of the benefits of physical outside of owning a box to look at. Now with those issues out of the way, let's talk about some of the things that we actually saw at E3 and some of the things that might actually somewhat redeem the system from what we've seen so far. And the biggest strength currently are console exclusive titles. Now while a number of multi-platform titles were shown at both our floor show and press conference, the actual exclusive titles that were really enticing included games like Dead Rising 3, Forza 5, Ryse Son of Rome, a new Halo project with a yet-to-be-confirmed title, Titanfall, a new world-building game called Project Spark, and the most pleasantly surprising to me, Killer Instinct, which I actually got a chance to play on the floor just a little bit and is just as button-mashy as ever. Now what a lot of these titles really got to show off to us is how cinematic a lot of games are going to be on the next gen, particularly games like Ryse Son of Rome, which had a lot of combat that looked like something out of a full cinematic cutscene in older games, or Forza 5, which showed just how photorealistic a lot of the cars can be now. Personally, the ones that I'm most excited for so far include Dead Rising 3, which is making the move from being just inside of a mall to a full city, which, if done properly with the right implications, could be simply amazing. And while I'm not the biggest fan of first-person shooters, my love of robots has got me really intrigued by Titanfall. I'm also just a little curious about Project Spark, although I really want a little more info in terms of what you can actually do for world building and how you can explore through it before I get too fully into it. Now one last thing I wanted to touch on that I did get a chance to try personally was the new Xbox One controller, which does look very similar to the original one, albeit the overall shaping is a bit different. First off, they've gotten rid of that really annoying webbing on the D-pad, which makes it a lot easier to use. Also, the triggers are a little more shallow, but still deep enough to give you a satisfying trigger pull for first-person shooters. Now, one change I really did like was them moving away from having one single rumble feature that makes the whole controller shake like a madman, to having 4 separate parts of the controller that shake based on what's happening in the game. So for instance, if you're playing a shooter and get shot on the right side, only the right side of the controller will shake. It's also not nearly as abrasive, so it feels a lot more comfortable when you're in a game and it's just giving you little impulses to let you know what's going on. And in terms of the overall shape of the controller, it's very similar to the old one, although it does have slightly thinner grips, which actually felt more comfortable for me once I got used to it. Now one of the things I did not like about the controller is that overall it feels a lot lighter to me. I feel as though it doesn't have as much heft as older controllers, and if I were to throw it, it wouldn't take nearly as solid of an impact. Although this isn't exactly something I could have tested on the show floor. Overall, while the Xbox One has done quite a bit in terms of publicity to anger a lot of gamers, I will say that what they showed specifically at E3 was a step forward, and I was really happy to see a press conference that didn't just have Kinect titles and random dance performances in the middle of it. Now, Microsoft still has a long way to go to repair the image they've built up for the console so far, and the best thing they can do to help it at launch is to have as many strong console-exclusive titles as they can. And what we saw at E3 was a decent start. Now we just need to see what they still have in store. Well, that was just my response to what I saw from Microsoft this year at E3. Make sure to keep an eye out for more videos coming from me on my thoughts from other things, including Sony, Nintendo, and my overall thoughts for the battle between the PS4 and the Xbox One. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching our videos. If you have yet to do so, please make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest videos, including more E3 coverage. And if you enjoyed this one, please make sure to hit the like button, as it is the easiest way to help out the channel. Till next time, I'm Kevin for TLD. Thanks for watching.